Welcome back. Now what I'm gonna do is that I'm gonna display, instead of on hold, I'm gonna say not paid. You can say on hold, or you can say not paid, or whatever you want to say. But it's very important to be descriptive, and you need to know these keywords, because these keywords will help you know the determine the status of your order. So I personally used to use on hold. You can use not paid. I think not paid is better. If you want to, if you are gonna display this to the user, and I think you are, then it's better to say not paid, because on hold the user might be confused. So if the here, whenever we create an order, let me remind you, if you go back to the place order, the default value as soon as the user creates an order, as soon as the user makes an order, the order status is on hold. You can use whatever, again, you can use whatever keyword you want. You can use not paid, whatever key you want. Let's say not paid. Not paid. So by default, it's gonna be not paid, because the user by default is gonna place the order and then pay for the products. So let me change this to not paid, and let me keep it small letters, because if I compare, I don't want to uh, do extra work. So here in the database, we also need to change the old values of the old orders that they have created. So the old orders here in the orders table, the orders that they have all already created. You can again use whatever keyword you want. Let's say not paid instead of on hold. Not paid. I'm gonna say not paid. And for example, suppose that this was paid. I'm gonna assume that this was paid. So if it's paid, I'm gonna say delivered. For example, it's delivered. Let's say delivered. For example, this let's say that this was delivered. For the sake of testing, I'm gonna say that I'm gonna assume that this was delivered. So in the now, if I refresh, guess what? If I refresh, these orders are not paid except for this. This one was delivered. So what I'm gonna do now is that if the order was not paid, and if the user clicks on details, we need here to display a button that would allow the user to pay for that product, so that we ship that product to or products to the user. So to do this, in the order details, we need to check that. And to do this, again, we need to go back to the account, and here in the account, we need to create a new input. We need to say input, and then we need to say type hidden, and then we need to say value, and then the value is gonna be PHP, and then echo, and then raw, and then we need to store the order status. Here I'm gonna say order status, and then I'm gonna close the PHP here. And then what I'm gonna do is that I'm gonna say name is equal to order status. And then now in the order details, we need to receive that order status. So at the top, remember at the top here, we need to say order underscore status is equal to post, and then order underscore status. And now in the bottom, we need to display a button that's going to allow the user to pay if the order status is not paid. We need to display here in the details, we need to display a button that would allow the user to pay. So here I'm going to add if statement. I'm going to say here if. I'm going to create outside the table. Actually, it should be here. Outside the table, we need to use PHP, and then we need to check the order status. We need to say if order status is equal to not paid, then we need to display a form. So I'm gonna say here if, and then I'm gonna close this. Let me show you what I'm gonna do. So let me remove this line, and let me also remove this area, and then between I'm gonna display PHP code. I'm gonna here display PHP code, and then I'm gonna close the curly bracket at the end. I'm gonna close the if statement curly bracket. And here in between, only if the order status is not paid, then I'm gonna here say form, and then inside that form I'm gonna say input type submit, and value pay now. And I'm gonna also give it a style. I'm gonna say here style is equal to float right. Let's also give it a class. I'm gonna say class btn, and we can also say btn primary. Let me now save and let me show you how awesome this is. So let me go back to the account page. Now in the account page, if the order is not paid, and if I click on details, here there will be a button that says pay now, because the order is not paid yet, is not paid. The status is not paid. However, if the order is delivered, was already delivered, then in the details there is no button. There shouldn't be a button here because the order was delivered already. So now what you need to do is that you need to know the keywords that you are going to be using. So the keywords that I'm going to be using are not paid, delivered, or being shipped, or shipped. So the keywords, let me here create a comment. At the top here, I'm going to just add a comment to let you know the keywords that I'm going to be using. So the keywords that I'm going to be using are not paid, if the order is not paid yet, delivered, if the order was delivered, and shipped if the order was shipped but not has not been delivered yet. So I'm going to be using these three keywords. You can also use paid in case you want to add extra a monitoring system, but I wouldn't recommend making the system too complicated. I think not paid and then shipped. As soon as the user pays, you need to change the status to shipped, and then delivered after you make sure that the order was delivered and the user uh, uh, received the package.